Emma Lenny Benye Nile Loco. Esiku Dede Asiko yi. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'll be addressing a rhetorical question as I promised in my previous video. Àkànlò Ìbéèrè. I've been doing idioms and metaphors for quite a bit, but I haven't done any rhetorical questions so far or metaphorical questions. So I'm going to start them now, and this would be the first video on it. Àkànlò Ìbéèrè. Ìbéèrè is question. Àkànlò is, it's not to be taken literally. Kànlò. We just used it to express an opinion or a thought. The meaning is different or even deeper than the simple statement that we've uttered or the simple question that we've asked. Àkànlò Ìbéèrè. The one that I'm going to be addressing today is slightly funny, at least to me. Kí ni Ìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yọ ẹgba dání? That's the rhetorical question. Kí ni Ìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yọ ẹgba dání? Now, I have to say the full thing. If I just say this, if I just teach this, one, you won't get it. Two, it won't make full sense. So the second half of it, although this is the part that you would hear most often, and many people already get what is being expressed, the second part of that question is also a question. It is, Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ adìrẹ ni? Kí ni Ìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yọ ẹgba dání? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ adìrẹ ni? Most of the time you will just hear the first question, but the second part, the second question, the supporting question really paints the picture. I'm going to transliterate, show you what each word means, and then I'll explain what it means. The first part, Kí ni Ìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yọ ẹgba dání? Kí is what, ni is. Ìyá is woman or mother. Most of the time it's used to indicate that the person that is being referred to is a female. Now you may also hear Kí ni Bàbá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yọ ẹgba dání if the person that is being discussed, talked about, referenced is a man, is male. Most of the time they will substitute the Ìyá for the Baba, So if it's Baba that you hear, man, it suggests that the person is male. It could be man, it could be father, it could be, It just indicates that the person is male. Kí ni Ìyá, woman, mother, female, Aláṣọ is Oni Aṣọ combined. Oni Aṣọ. Oni, ni is to have. So Oni could be the one who has, maybe he has for themselves, or even the one who has to sell. Oni, the one who has, or the one who has that thing to sell, to exchange. If you think back to the trade by barter days, if you have this, I give you that type days before currency was introduced. That's the rational. The person has, but they also have to give or to exchange. Oni. Aṣọ is clothing. Aṣọ is clothing or clothes. Aṣọ. So Oni Aṣọ in this context is the one who has to sell, or simply the one who sells clothing. Indicates that the sentence is in present tense or continuous tense. Ta is to sell, but it would be selling in this case because of the that is here, that indicates that the sentence is in present tense or continuous tense or present continuous tense. That thing is happening or it happens. So it would be selling in this case because of the that precedes it. To is T-O. T is that. O could be E or she or it. Because it's Ìyá here, but referring to a she, O in this case is she. T-O, that she, or to, when you combine these two words. Oni Aṣọ, you combine, you get Aláṣọ. We like to combine words. Your could be to sprout, or to appear, or to show, or to showcase, or to display, all depending on the context. In this context, it's display. Egba is cane that you used to flog a person. Cane. Dani is hold. Dani is hold. There are certain verbs that we get by combining two verbs. Da is like alone. Ni is to have. So have alone. If you're going to really break this down, it's hold, but if you really want to break it down and go deeper, then have alone. You have a grip on it. I was going to say you have a hold on it, but that's it. That's not very helpful, is it? Dani, you have it alone. You have a grip on it, hold. When you have it alone, you can't really hold anything else. I really don't know how to break this down much further, but have alone are the two words that combine to form hold. I hope you get it. Dani, hold. So when you put these words together, when you transliterate, Kini Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání. What is the cloth seller? What is the woman who sells clothing or cloths? What is the female cloth seller? Or you don't even have to include female because you're saying she at some point in the sentence anyway. So for transliteration purposes, I mean, you could say what is the female cloth seller, but we don't need to, so I didn't include the female. What is the cloth seller selling that she's displaying and holding a cane? This is the transliteration. So of course, you know that we have to rearrange certain words. What is the cloth seller selling that she's displaying and holding a cane? What is the cloth seller selling that she's holding and displaying a cane? I don't want to over-translate, so I just exchanged positions. As opposed to what is the cloth seller selling that she's displaying and holding, I stuck with what is the cloth seller selling that she's holding and displaying a cane. Why does she need to? What's the point? You see, it doesn't make full sense yet. That's why I said you have to know the second question that people don't often say because they assume that you just know. But you have to know the second question to really make sense of this rhetorical question. Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ adìrẹ ni? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ adìrẹ ni? Ṣé is a question starter. So if you're going to translate to English, you choose whatever English question starter works. In certain instances, it would be what. In some others, it would be why. In other cases, it would be when. In this case, do is the most fitting question starter. So do is what I've chosen here. Ewúrẹ́ is goat or goats in general. Indicates that the sentence is in present tense or continuous tense. It shows that something is happening in that sentence, or something happens. Je is eat. Je is eat. Adire, kind of what I'm wearing, is a fabric type. Adire. Ni is a question ender, in this case, and it's like, is it? Is it? It's a question ender here. Really depends on where it is. Sometimes it would just be is, if it's like between the sentence or something, or somewhere around the sentence. But when it ends the sentence like that, especially a question, is it? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ adìrẹ ni? So when you put those words together, do goats eat adìrẹ? I put is it because this is transliteration. When you're translating, you don't really have to include the is it. With the do, the point is already made in the language that we're translating to here or transliterating to, which is English. So do goats eat adire? Is it? You can just leave as do goats eat adire? What is the cloth seller selling that is making her hold and display a cane? Do goats eat adire? Back in the day, people would spread their wares on flat wooden trays. And if you sold items that animals could eat, that animals found appealing, maybe for goats, for example, maybe you sold certain vegetables or certain types of cooked food that would attract, well, maybe fish that would attract cats, or you sold maybe cooked food or something, or bananas that would attract monkeys, or you sold grains that would attract chickens, or you sold meat that would attract dogs, or Just think of whatever animal has been domesticated for a long time. If you sold those items, it was not uncommon to see those sellers holding canes and displaying them to those animals. Like, if you come near my wares, if you come near my wares, I'm going to give you a tap on your butt. Don't come near my stuff, my produce, what I'm selling. It wasn't uncommon to see sellers holding canes. Now, if you sold items like clothing or things that animals could not necessarily eat, there was no point. If you sold items like that, like this, like foods, and you were holding a cane, people would not be confused. They would know that it's because of the animals that roam around and play around that you're holding the cane. But if you're selling clothing and maybe beads or esho, things that are decorative, or sculptures, or like they are not going to eat it. So who are you holding and displaying the cane for? Are you intending to flog your customers? Or like, if it's not for the animals, are we animals? Then why do you need to hold it? It makes no sense. Kini Nìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yegba dani, ṣé wúrẹ́ ń jẹ àdìrẹ ni? If you say Kini Nìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yegba dani, many people would already get what you're saying. But if you want to, paint the picture for anybody who may not already know, then you would include the second part. Ṣé wúrẹ́ ń jẹ àdìrẹ ni? You ask this when a person is displaying more hostility than the situation needs. It's like, you're being mean. You don't even have to be this mean. Why are you being so mean? You don't even have to be. It's not even necessary. You ask this when the person is displaying more meanness than is necessary and the situation needs. If at all they need to be mean or aggressive, this is a bit too much. That's when you ask this rhetorical question. If you're asking somebody this, and it would be very sarcastic even if you're asking them this, in that exact way, but maybe you're talking to somebody about them, you're essentially saying, why are they being mean when they don't even have to be, or when they don't even have to be this mean? So I thought of different scenarios and I selected a few where this would be a fitting question to maybe not necessarily ask that person. It has a bit of sarcasm in it, or a lot of sarcasm, so maybe not to the person, but to someone else who may also be witnessing what is happening, or may also be experiencing that aggression, that meanness from that person. For example, somebody purchases a new house and invites you, and when you get there they say, oh, wash your feet and wash your hands and wash your face before stepping into my house, and maybe take your clothes off and wear this. This house is new, we just bought it, it's like a $2 million house, so please, you have to take a bath outside before stepping into my house, because I mean, if he easy, may you to run him. Like the pidgin, people who speak pidgin would say, pidgin English. It's not easy to buy a house this expensive. Then you may ask somebody who has come with you, or had to also go through the same process before getting in. Like, Kini Nìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yegba dani. If it was maybe the palace of the Oni of Ife, or Aso Rock, Nigeria, or what's this place in Versailles called? Like, if it was, then it would make sense. Maybe it wouldn't even, but if it was something a little bit more serious than this, then it would make sense that we'd have to go through this process. But why do we need to worship this house before getting in it, type of thing? Or why does this person need to be so mean when it's not even necessary? Then it would be a fitting question to ask, fitting rhetorical question, like, Kini Nìyá Aláṣọ ńtà tó yegba dani? Why do we need to be humiliated this much? As I live life, I realize that many times it's very good not to jump into conclusion. Now, this person may not be mentally stable. Not that they are, again, not every mental instability is like they're completely insane. but they may have certain conditions that are making them react that way. They may not even know that it's a little over the top when they behave that way. So it doesn't necessarily always mean that they are trying to be mean. It really depends. Again, if you're pretty sure that none of these apply and you have a lot of self-respect, you would just turn back because there's no point. It's too much, and maybe that would make them reconsider. Like, are they being too much? But if you are aware that maybe this person is an hypochondriac or a germaphobe, or they have OCD issues that they might be battling with, then of course you just do it so that you can get in. You love them the way they are, I suppose. So again, always think twice or thrice, and then you make your decision. If you think the first time and the second time about it, and none of this apply, and you know that this person is just intentionally being mean, then please have some dignity and turn back. That's one scenario. In another, it could be, let's say, you go to somebody's house, and before you leave, they ask to search your bag. Like, I've only just visited you and I brought my bag. Why do you need to humiliate me so much? Or why do you have to be so mean before letting me out of your house? Let me search your bag. You can't go. I have to look at what's in your bag. Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání. You can ask somebody, or you can say whenever you find yourself discussing it, like, or maybe somebody whose bag is being searched as well. Why is this necessary? This is a little bit too mean. Again, you also want to think, why would this person be asking me to do that? This is not a normal thing to do. So why would they be asking me to do that? Maybe the person is aware that there's somebody in their house who has negative intentions toward you, or even pure evil intentions, and they overheard them saying they were going to plant something in your bag. Now, this person is loyal to you and also to that other person, so they are not going to tell you point blank that it is likely that the other person is trying to set you up, or trying to place something in your bag, or has placed something in your bag when you were not aware. So they're just going to do this. You may think it's mean or it's like ridiculous, but you also have to think, this is not normal behavior. What is this person trying to do here? Don't let your ego or your pride, don't let it get in the way of your thinking. Are they trying to get you out of something? Or are they trying to put something in your bag? Also, it could also be that. But if none of these apply, you think first, then think about it again, and then the third time you decide that none of those could possibly apply, then you asking, Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? You asking that question would be perfectly understandable and reasonable. Like, why do we have to be humiliated so? Why do you have to be so mean? This is ridiculous. You have a roommate, you cook, but instead of using your own pot or your own bowl, you use theirs, and they come and they snatch the plate from you and they say, oh, you have no right to cook and put your meal in my bowl, and they pour your food away. It's my bowl. They throw your food away. First reaction is to be mad. But it could also be that they saw somebody else poison the food. Now, again, they don't want to tell you directly, like, this person just trying to poison you. It's not even about my own bowl or about my own pot. I just saw somebody try to kill you. So, of course, I'm going to pour the food away. They're not going to tell you that. At least not yet. For your safety and theirs. At least not yet. The situation is not right just yet. It may not be food. It may be something else. You have to think. This person doesn't behave this way usually. They are not this mean. Or even if they're this mean, actually, they're not this mean on Thursdays. For example, what's going on? This is very weird. You have to think. Don't let your first reaction be, oh, I'm going to knock you out. Let it be what's going on here. But if none of those apply, then it's perfectly understandable if you ask somebody that is also witnessing what is going on, or somebody, most likely somebody that is also witnessing what is going on. Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? Why are we experiencing this much meanness and hostility in this house when the situation doesn't even warrant? You could have just told me to dump the food in my own bowl or pot and wash your pot instead. Why did you need to dispose my food? Why did you need to throw my food away? Or why did they need to throw it away? You know? What's going on? Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? It's perfectly understandable if you ask somebody else that. Perfectly understandable. Good character. Ìwà pẹ̀lẹ́ kùtù. Ìwà pẹ̀lẹ́ pẹ̀lẹ́. Very important. Just calm down. Let your initial reaction be calm down. But that aside, the teachable moments aside, Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? Kí bàbá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ àdìrẹ ni? Do goats eat àdìrẹ? Do goats eat fabric? Why are we holding and displaying canes in the presence of customers? Do we intend to flog them or poke their eyes? Why do we need to be so mean? It's not even necessary. You know, that's the question. That's the rhetorical question. We like to combine words, especially when we speak. So most of the time, what you would hear is a more compact version. Ni, iya would be combined to form niya. Your egba will be joined to form yegba. So instead of Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání, you would most likely hear Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání. Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání. And ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ àdìrẹ ni would most likely be ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni. Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni. When we speak, especially when we speak fast, you hear words just merging into one another most of the time. So ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jẹ àdìrẹ ni, you may hear that, but when a person is speaking quickly, you would most likely hear ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni instead. Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni? Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni? Nìyá Aláṣọ to Yẹgba Dání? Ṣé ewúrẹ́ ń jàdìrẹ ni? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching and for your time and for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.
Bye.